What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 47. We're starting today's stuff on the back of the big back-to-back wins. Oh, 'tis the season around Christmas time with our wins over Manchester City and Liverpool as well. 5 scalps in 7 games and a draw as well. Tell you what, man, seriously, I said this season, if we were to get into the top 4, we had to start beating the big teams. Can't ask for much more than that, can you? Still, as we would start today's episode off, our first game on the back of promoting one of our youth players who was unsettled. God, I really do hope in future versions of FIFA you can talk to your youth players like you can talk to your senior players. Just tell them, just wait, just give it some time. You'll probably get a pro deal at some point. Just wait a second, you know. But yeah, first game, obviously Leicester, the Foxes away at the King Power Stadium. Massive game here in what has been a massive month of December. This coming New Year's Eve away against Brendan Rodgers' side, we lost to them 2-1 in the reverse fixture at the start of the month where we, well, I'd say conceded in heartbreaking fashion. That's an understatement. Salisu went down after Pickford made a great save, and whilst we were down to 10 men, the Foxes won it with the final kick of the game. So taking them on here away at the King Power Stadium, looking for revenge this one. And this is a massive game as well because, you know, both teams this season are going for a Champions League spot, and the realistic outcome is that only one of us is going to make it. It's highly unlikely that with West Ham right now, high flying as well, that us, West Ham and Leicester are all going to make the top 4 in the third season. One of us is going to miss out. At least one of us is going to miss out. So massive game here away at the King Power. First half was reasonably action-packed. Couple of great saves from both goalkeepers, keeping it 0-0. And then 4 minutes after the restart here, still deadlocked. Looking to get ourselves in front. Livramento showboating a little bit down the right-hand side. Chipped through by Ritsu Doan. Gets in behind Hermoso and hits the post as well. Tino Livramento still hasn't scored, I believe, since the save began. Very close there to getting his first after Woodwork. Still 0-0. When the final chances fell in stoppage time, James Ward-Prowse, how often does this guy come to my rescue in a big moment in a big game? Pickford gets a touch on the header onto his goal, but it's still going to creep in, and it would have done so had it not been for the skipper. Off the line, JWP ensures we get the clean sheet and we get a point as well. So it'd been a really rough month for the Saints. We'd had a few bad results in a row, but not too surprising considering the toughness of our fixtures in that month of December. Every single game was a difficult one, but I'll take the point there. That is 7 points picked up from a possible 9 against Leicester away and Manchester City and also Liverpool as well. So here we go then, 21 games into the season. January is here. And we're 7 points behind West Ham and 2 clear of Manchester City in 5th. We are still in the top 4 for now. But I tell you what, holding on to a Champions League spot in what has been a very tightly congested league table with 17 games to go is going to be a tough ask. Thankfully, we came through the month of December with what I'd call a 6 out of 10 in terms of our results against the big boys. Couple of scalps, couple of decent points, I guess I'll take it. So as January comes, two of our defenders have left. Jack Stevens has now left Crystal Palace on a permanent deal. The long-serving centre-half is off to Selhurst Park. And also Jerome Martel has left on loan to Burnley for 2 years. I said before, if there was ever a club for Martel to go to, it's Burnley. He's going to learn some toughness there, but not under Sean Dyche. Yes, you see our budget at £12 million for January. Not sure what we'll do with it. I've got to discuss this, man. Yesterday morning, I'm sure you guys, like I did, saw the news that Sean Dyche has been sacked by Burnley. He'd been in charge of the club for 10 years and let go with 8 games remaining in the season. Now, tomorrow they're taking on West Ham away. Very tough fixture, and right now they are in 18th place in the bottom 3 and 4 points adrift of safety after Everton's big win against Manchester United. Now, obviously, I have a habit of sitting on the fence when I talk about football-related matters. Everyone would admit I can be a little bit too liberal for my own good sometimes, but I gotta say this. What a terrible decision. Absolutely awful in my opinion. Sean Dyche has been performing above expectations for years with Burnley. He got them to 2 top 10 finishes, including a 7th place finish and a Europa League qualifying campaign, and they never made the group if I remember correctly. He performed above expectations for years on very limited resources. In all the years at Burnley, they didn't spend much money. They kept a very consistent core of players as well. I'm really stunned by the decision to replace him now, and that's the key. Replace him now. There's 8 games to go in this season, and they're only 4 points off the Toffees. They have, I believe, the fewest defeats in the bottom 5. As we know, they've got the fewest wins this season, yes. More than willing to accept only 4 wins all season long is a shambolic record, let's be honest. But the fewest defeats in the bottom 5, and I believe the least amount of goals conceded in the bottom 6 as well. I might be wrong about that, please correct me if I am. But even so, they've had a poor season, yes, but Sean Dyche is not what I'd say the miracle man, but he's definitely got a tremendous record of performing above expectations and keeping Burnley in the top flight, despite the fact most pundits suggest, season after season it seems, that Burnley will be one of the 3 that go down. There's 8 games to go, and 4 points is not a massive hole to get yourself out of. There's no reason why Burnley still can't survive. If it was like a 10-point gap and they were bottom, I'd understand it. But 4 points, that's 2 wins or a win and a draw, and they're out of the bottom 3. With 8 games to go, they've still got some winnable fixtures. The Watford away day at Vicarage Road, I can't wait for that game. That is going to be absolutely massive. Let's be honest here. That's loser goes down. That's going to be a huge, huge game. I'm stunned by the decision, I must admit. Now, don't get me wrong, the brand of football Burnley play is not one which is what you'd call aesthetically pleasing. I know some fans do believe that a change in play style and perhaps manager might be beneficial in time, but now I don't understand it. I really, really don't. The only thing I can think of is that Alan Pace and the Burnley board are thinking maybe we'll get a new manager bounce. Everyone talks about it, and we've seen it consistently in the Premier League this year, that new manager bounce. Many times this season, a new manager has come in, and we've seen they have had a slight improvement in form in the very first couple of games. But I don't know, because it's a really high risk, high reward thing to do when there's 8 games to go. If we are halfway through the season, there's plenty of time for a new manager to come in, get to grips with, you know, Burnley's play style, the players that are suited to the play style, all under Sean Dyche. I could understand it. But now there's 8 games to go. You know, that's not a lot of time for a new manager to come in, implement a new play style perhaps, and keep Burnley in the Premier League. I've got to say, I could understand if it was the end of the season and Burnley went down. I could even understand if Burnley stayed up by a point or 2 and Burnley just felt it was time for a change. But right now, with 8 games to go and only a 4-point gap, Sean Dyche, the service he's done in the past 10 years, no one can deny. He's done a tremendous job with Burnley, performing with expectations. I've got to say, I feel very sorry for Dyche. I don't think he deserved that. And I've got to say, if Burnley do go down, well, let's be honest here, there'll be big question marks as to why the decision was made with just 8 games to go when Dyche has a habit of keeping his team in the Premier League above expectations. It's a big, high-risk, high-reward situation. If it pays off, fair play. If it doesn't, I think everyone will look back on this decision and say, wrong time, poor decision. Anyway, for the second game of today's episode, FA Cup third round here, FA Cup weekend. I love it when it falls on a weekend where I'm playing FA Cup games. FA Cup third round away against Bristol Rovers, the League 2 side away at a Memorial Stadium. We fell behind in this game to the lower league side, but I'll be totally honest here, despite trailing early, I never felt there's no way we're going to lose this game. 5 minutes to go, we were 4-1 up, and we totally turned the game on its head. Yeah, the Rovers got the first goal in the game, but since then it was all Southampton. You'll see by my lineup, I picked a few starters and a few fringe players as well, and I'd show you this final highlight as well. Look at this. How did that ball stay out there? And why did the referee blow for full time when the ball was only cleared to the 18-yard line? Ridiculous. But even so, 4 on the final score. I'll be totally honest here, whilst we did fall behind and there was a slight bit of concern after conceding the opening goal in the game, I never felt too troubled. You see the stats here, an XG of 7.7, the host score with their only shot of the game. Yeah, no doubt about it. Thoroughly deserved a win. We are through to the FA Cup fourth round. So yeah, draw against Leicester, win against Bristol Rovers into the fourth round of the FA Cup, and you'll see the draw as we end today's episode off as well. I've mentioned it before, and I'm the first to admit it. I get a lot of luck in my domestic cup draws when I'm managing in England, and it remains in this season as well. Blackpool away, Bloomfield Road. I think we had them last season, I think. But Blackpool away, Bloomfield Road, the Championship side in the fourth round. I've talked about it, because lower league sides go further than normal nowadays. It's not too surprising to get drawn against them, especially in the earlier rounds. We've got a League 2 side and a Championship side. It's Blackpool, the Tangerine Army, in the fourth round of the FA Cup. And after last year getting to the semis, I'm targeting get back to Wembley once again. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. What do you guys think about the Sean Dyche sacking, please leave me a comment. Do you think it was the right time for a change? Or like me, do you think high risk, high reward, and it might well backfire and they might have shot themselves in the foot? Have a great day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode very soon.